Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man turned out to be pretty peak. That is crazy to me. This is a series that has so much mixed receptions just because of the way it looked, bro. Like, not a lot of people were sold on the 3D animation. I thought it was fine because I grew up watching a Spider-Man show with much shittier 3D animation, and I still enjoyed it. And I'm pretty sure we all did too. And remember the Spider-Man, the new animated series on MTV? Yeah, we've done this before. I think if people give this show a try, they're gonna leave happier than when they went in, because this show progresses in such a smooth, good way that it's gonna surprise most folks. It's a fresh, new take. The progression of the characters and the story arcs are smooth as butter. The action takes a while to get going, but this is still newbie Spider-Man. And when the action does come, it's badass. Because when I was watching this thing, I'm like, okay, Spider-Man's not really fighting that much. He's just using his webs and evading. He's like really dependent on his webs. But then I'm like, okay, it's newbie Spider-Man, so I get it. But then when the action comes, I'm like, whoa, this is the stuff I was waiting for, baby. Some people also may be turned off by Spider-Man's homemade suit in this series. But honestly, dude, it's not bad at all. We've had shittier homemade suits in the past. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Amazing Spider-Man movies. And yeah, people roll with that. So you can roll with this, bro. Stop complaining. We always knew, back when this show was called Spider-Man Freshman Year, we saw concept art of all the characters, all the different Marvel characters, all the different Spider-Man suits he's going to have throughout this whole series. Well, throughout season 1, because Spider-Man does go through a lot of different fits in season 1. And some are cool, some are downright dog shit, but the main one is awesome. Plus, if the animation really bugs you, I can definitely say the animation does look janky as hell in some scenes, especially in the finale action scenes. Like, that was like, I was like, ugh. But the story was so good that I just gave it a pass. I'm like, all right, if the story is good and the show is actually good on its own, I can forgive janky, weird looking animation. I mean, look at Invincible. And this series has a bunch of different new takes on not only Spider-Man the character, also all of his villains and side characters too. Like, there's no Mary Jane Watson or not even a Gwen Stacy in this show. Spider-Man, Peter Parker's best friend, is a new character called Nico Minoru. Apparently she's one of the Runaways. I never knew that. I thought they were just going to make her a normal goth girl, but no. Right when one pivotal scene happens in this show, I'm like, okay, you have to be that character from the Runaways. Because how the fuck did you do that? Also, Harry Osborn. Harry Osborn's still the rich kid. Norman Osborn's still the rich father. But both are new takes, basically. Well, I wouldn't say Harry. I would say Norman. Because Norman's more like the mentor figure. Like what Tony Stark was to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The mentor figure who supplies him with all his suits and techs and all that to become Spider-Man. But Spider-Man eventually has to learn on his own how to be a good hero and step up when he needs to. But the show leaves it open where it's like, okay, this character is this way for right now, but that doesn't mean they can't become something different down the line. Even all the Marvel characters, we got a lot of superhero appearances in this show, because this show isn't really its own thing, like how Spider-Man will be the only superhero running around. No, this is Spider-Man in basically what Kevin Feige wanted Spider-Man to be in the MCU originally. This is like his take, I'd say. It's an alternate MCU, it felt like, just with a couple tweaks and different takes. Everything you knew that happened up in the MCU up until now have happened, but they're just done in a different way to fit Spider-Man more naturally in this world. More so than the movies, I feel like. Because the movies still can't play with some pivotal characters that this show was able to kick into overdrive with. And I appreciated that. If you've been really wanting a new, grounded Spider-Man story that's also going to do something different, then this show is for you. The cast does really good too. I feel like the voice work really showed in this one. And I remember seeing right before this show began that Hudson Thames, the guy who voices Spider-Man Peter Parker in this series, said that, oh, this Spider-Man show is good. It's different. I didn't think it was, I hoped it wasn't going to be as woke as other projects, but I can assure you this one isn't. And a lot of people came after him for that, thinking he was bad, calling him an evil Spider-Man. Let's calm it down a bit, people. Like, there's nothing really to be mad about. This show is not really woke, so he's not really lying. The only things is that there's a lot of gender swapped characters in this series. And guys, this isn't new. We're living in a world where Marvel Studios turned the Mandarin into a goofball in Iron Man 3, and then they showed the real Mandarin. They changed characters before, but this one is still the characters. They're just gender swapped. Some people may think it's very wrong that they made Kirk Connors a black girl, but honestly, it's a different adaptation. It's a new take. As long as they don't do anything over the top and trying to shove a message down your throat, it's not going to hurt us, really. We even got Russian white girl Rhino in this series, and she is more competent than the Amazing Spider-Man 2's Rhino. I'm telling you that right now. This Spider-Man show is also a little bit more hood, I would say, because this is the most gang wars we've seen in any Spider-Man series for sure. Because when I'm watching this, a couple episodes, I'm like, why is this so hood? Why are there so many gangs? And Spider-Man's grounded, but like most adaptations will not show gang stuff in an overarching arc for that long. Maybe like a couple seconds and then that's it. But no, this show really concentrates on the gang stuff. And enter Lonnie Lincoln, his character, Tombstone. That's his story arc this season. And it made Lonnie Lincoln a very compelling character. And that's also to give black representation. That's great. A lot of black people in this series, more so than I thought. I'm not just talking about the Osborns. I'm talking about all the gangs too, because one gang member literally looks like LeBron, and people are going to go crazy over that. And I love all the cameos from Marvel characters in this show. We got Doctor Strange, Daredevil, voiced by Charlie Cox, and that was great too. We got Iron Man, we got Captain America. Like, dude, there was so much goodness in this series, all the Marvel goodness. I also really like Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn. He shows a more menacing demeanor. Also, like, he's able to turn it on and turn it off when he wants to. Like, show his good, patriotic Osborn side, and also can show that he has a hidden dark side that we just have yet to see that. Hopefully, season 2 shows on it more. The progression of Peter Parker's character and his rise to become Spider-Man is very smooth. Because at first, yeah, he's newbie. He's not really fighting as much. He's using his webs. He's not really comfortable in most situations. He's just taking down like small things. But then when some big stuff happens, real danger, he has to learn how to step up and do the right thing. Even when he has no powers. I thought that was great. I'm starting to see why Marvel Studios fast-tracked this to get a season 2 and 3. Because wow, the progression of this series has been great. The theme song also really grew on me too. It just felt really good over time. People will say it's like industry-induced rap or whatever they said, but what I can say, it worked. There we go again. Swinging through the city so fast you could barely notice him. Wild problem. But here's your spoiler warning. This is all I wanted to say for spoilers, but let's get into it real quick. Okay, I love Peter's the classic suit, but it's brand new looking. I don't like the front logo being the back logo, but I can learn to love it. Hopefully it could change to something like this in the future, but that's basically it. Okay, when we first saw this series, we were like, okay, this Spider-Man origin is going to be different. He's going to get bitten by a spider that comes from an alternate dimension. But the way this show progresses so smoothly, at the finale, it made it a different take, and this different take I loved because it showed that the spider never came from an alternate reality. It was time travel by the Doctor Strange's time stone. It came from one point of the future. It just came from the future, and then it bit him, and that's how he became Spider-Man. I was like, that's a great new take. Like, it surprised me. It really worked for me, though. It makes better sense and also gets that multiverse bullshit out of the way. It's far less confusing, too. A lot of people are going to really appreciate that. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was a peak show. I was so surprised with it. A lot of people are going to be surprised with it. Binge that shit. It's really, really cool. You're going to be really surprised. I give you nothing but honesty in these reviews. Go form your own opinion. See for yourself. I also love how they made Spider-Man badass again. He had all the hand-to-hand combat. He was using nothing but the hands. He was beating the crap out of everybody, especially Scorpion. But it shows that there's still room to grow. And hopefully they just give us that with great power becomes great responsibility line again, because I think this version of Peter really needs to hear that, especially going forward. And what they tease for next season, I hope happens soon, because yeah, that storyline is always going to work for me, and I'm always game to see it. Here's a little teaser for you.
We call ourselves Venom.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man gets a B.